You were going with Chance Marsteller today. How often have you wrestled with him?
We wrestle every camp. Yeah, I mean, I think we make an effort to probably wrestle every single camp. He's a good training partner.
What's it going to be like having him on the world team this year, one weight apart from you?
It's good. I mean, Chance is he's a student. He's a student of sport, and he takes every situation serious, which is good. So he's a guy, when you go with him, like, you got to be ready to rock in every position, and there's a lot of learning, and he's got a different body type than me, so I think we're good for each other because we can kind of give each other those different body types, different feels, get into a lot of different situations and scrambles, and it's definitely a really valuable time for both of us when we can train together.
So for a lot of years in Pennsylvania, a lot of the best kids were going through Young Guns. Then M2 comes along, you're training a lot of the best kids in PA along with Jody at Young Guns, and now Chance is also doing the same thing over on the eastern side of the state. Is that something that you and Chance talk about or collaborate on at all?
We do, actually, pretty frequently. It's actually really cool, and I was thinking about that today. Just there's so many clubs in the country, and kids have amazing opportunities. But you think about our two clubs, and you have guys that are teaching it, and they're doing it, and they're doing what they're teaching at the highest level, which is pretty cool, and kids can see that, and there's a lot of value in that. I know Chance, obviously cares a lot about the kids that he's training, and you can see that at Final X this year, which I thought was really cool, and it gives you a kind of a different value on training, competing when you're doing it while also coaching young kids like that. And they're very impressionable, and they can read into body language, and they can read into how just when you're with them, that you really value the time that you're with them, and just being around Chance, you can tell that he really values the time that he's around those guys. So yeah, I think it's cool. We talk about it a lot, and he's doing a really good job. Pennsylvania, we were talking about how Pennsylvania, I think, is probably the most we kind of talked about as organized, but it's not really quite, it's just very, kids have, no matter where you are in the state, you have really high level places to train. There's a lot of smaller clubs, smaller training environments for kids as well, but there's no lack of resources in Pennsylvania, which is only going to make the state better.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, like, you maybe are more aware of how the athletes perceive you as you're training the younger athletes. Is that something that you're thinking about as you're in here training, and there are some of these young U17 guys coming up? Is that on your mind?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of the kids that are here on the U17, U20 team, I've spent time with, whether directly or indirectly. Whether it's whether it's kids that are coming from M2 that are making the teams, or kids that have come to camps or have come to train or whatever it is. So, I've developed relationships with all these kids. And yeah, I mean, I think, when they're watching, they're watching and seeing what you're doing, and they're learning. And, so I think that's what, when you can intermingle this time, it can be pretty valuable.
I got to go with David this morning, David Taylor, and, I think we're both, I think a lot of the best guys in this game right now are very positional and very strong as far as pressure goes. So, getting the pressure from the best guy in the world at 86 kilos before I head out to go wrestle a bunch of guys at 79 is, you can't ask for much better for preparation this morning.
Were there any positions in particular where you're feeling that pressure, or things that were like wake-up calls for you?
Just in general. It's little things at this stage. Today Dave was he's able to take ground on me, and that's what I noticed is just like how hard am I fighting to dig back in there. We're not talking about digging in the hand fight. We're talking about inches in this game. It's if you watch some of the best wrestlers, you notice even if it's the smallest little inch that they move forward with their toe or their foot. You do that for 6 minutes, it wears the dude out. So I would say, yeah, he obviously got the better of me today, and he was able to do his little inches. So just for me, it just, as I'm getting down the weight, it just reminds me that, it shocks the legs and makes you just kind of think twice about, digging in. How much ground am I giving up? Where's my mat presence right now? And what's it look like as far as taking ground. It's a big thing I'm focused on.
You went with David yesterday as well. What makes him a good partner for you?
A couple of things. When we're sparring or we're drilling, I think we have the same intentions. I'm always about having a good flow and getting a good workout and giving my partner what they need, but also getting what I need. But I'm always the guy who, no matter who I grab, I want to go 1 second longer. I want to go 1 second longer. I want to do one more rep than you do, and at the same token, I feel like that's what he does. So when we get together, it's that 1 second longer that I usually do with someone else is actually even longer because he's got the same mindset. It's just and again, like I said before, we're both focused on mat presence. So everything you're doing is even when you're flowing, you're sparring, you're playing, or kind of pushing hard. He's somebody who lets you know very quick if you're out of position. So that's one thing that you don't get from anybody else like him. And then just have the same mindset. We're on the same team this year, and both obviously plan on coming home from Serbia with gold medals, and he's already done it once. So grabbing somebody who's done it before me and just picking everything I can away from that. I feel like that's what it takes at this level. Not being afraid to go grab the best partners in the room as well.
You've stated that after this year, you're in between for the Olympics, and you're planning on going up. So how much of that is in your mind when you're wrestling with David that's the guy really in the way?
Not a whole lot. I try to put that aside so that we can get the work done right now that we need to get done, and achieve the goals we need to right now that are present in front of us. Wrestling's just one of those sports you never want to look too far ahead. It's like being in a bracket. How are you going to think about the finals when you haven't won match one? So I think for as long as we can, whether it's David or Zahid or any of these guys that are normally at 86, take it for what it's worth right now with a grain of salt, and get the best workout you can in with them right now. And it's always good to obviously get feels with them, but for the most part, I think we both have different goals in our mind right now. And then as we get through Serbia, I think things may change.